Hello again. So I think in real life the games have just finished. We're gonna do like a relatively quick summary on the two like games. I think the draw's just finished, sorry, in real life. So we're just gonna do a quick summary on the games, and then we're just gonna watch the draw because I haven't seen the draw yet. So game one, Gam versus TL was like it was really interesting because TL like kept drafting like Comfort versus Gam, who like in the first two games drafted like in the first game they drafted a really standard meta comp with like the Rumble, Maokai, Zeri, Rakan, and then in the game two they were drafting like a more snowbally comp with the Draven. It was really interesting because in the first game draft, Gam definitely won. It was a hard execution, but like they did make some basic mistakes at the start, but like they then came back into it and like sort of popped off and like snowballed against TL. TL really struggled when they didn't have the lead in the early game, which is the difference in game two is that they did have the lead in the early game. I know I'm rushing through this and this is going to come out quite badly, but I'm sorry. Game two was also a bad game for Kiaya, who kept getting caught out. Like I think he was like 0-5 like late game, but like the Gam was still pretty good. Like I think Gam in game two was still like very competitive. Game three again, like as I said, both teams went for more comfort, and TL like they adapted a little bit, which is really cool to see. They started focusing a lot more around Summit, which was a good adaptation as far as league adaptations go, because Kiaya had been pretty impactful in the series. Like when he performed well in game one, they won. When he performed much worse in game two, they got absolutely slapped. But top lane 2v2 shenanigans in that game were heavily favored Gam, because Kiaya and Levi absolutely destroyed mechanically Summit and Pyoshik. Also, it allowed the Wukong, because they won, to accelerate to level 6, which was the point he had to hit, and it just made them so much better. Yon also was forced to like waste a ton of time and not really get in to do a lot of damage because of the way that his team was behind. And then like eventually, because of the fact that Yon wasn't able to do anything, Summit was behind, Pyoshik wasn't able to do anything, like they got absolutely destroyed in that game 3. BDS DK I think is a lot easier to sum up, so I'm going to come back to that in a second. But like there were also other things, like TL played really well in game 2 around the Kindred win comp, but again, like I still think even in game 2, like I would say that Gam still looked like the better side, even if like TL won that game, because like TL were relying so heavily on Pyoshik in that game. Like TL were basically the team Pyoshik, like that was all they had. So yeah, well that was about it. On the BDS DK game, obviously it was Steph's birthday gift. Game 1, I think we got a lot of fun picks out of BDS. They went hella aggro with their comp with Lee Sin, Volley, LeBlanc, Kai'Sa, Blitzcrank. I still think like initial expectations of that draft for me were like BDS would just get absolutely steamrolled, and that's basically what happened. Damwon got so far ahead, and BDS just struggled with like bad target prio. They even lost 1v3. Well, they went 1-for-1 in a 1v3 against Kana, who even got hit by a Blitzcrank hook. Like BDS had 5 turrets dead at like pre-15 minutes. I think that sort of sums up how this game went. For once, I guess the reactive play, that's one thing note mentioning, is that for once the reactive play from DK was actually like better than being proactive. And I think that was just simply because BDS were constantly going for desperation plays. But yeah, basically as I predicted, this game wasn't even close. Game 2, the teams went for much more standard drafts. I preferred Damwon's a little bit more. It just seemed a little bit better. But I think part of that was like team bias, as well as the fact that there are lots of issues with drafting around Adam. There will be a video coming on that in the coming week. But D+ basically just showed their class from the start, and they got an early lead. And then they went on and absolutely destroyed. So yeah, we'll be getting onto the draw very soon. Okay, so they're drawing the 1 and 2 teams first. Cloud9 coming out first. I mean, I wonder who they'll play. I mean, there's like Fnatic, that would be a giga banger. D+, Weibo, Gam, Mad. Like, there are some pretty good games. I think they probably want Mad or Gam if they can choose. But that's about it, really. I think anything but like Weibo or D+ is what they don't want, I guess. It's been hidden. Okay, the classes have just said Fnatic, so I'm guessing it's Fnatic. Oh my god. That would be a big giga banger of a game, though. Oh my god. Okay, that would be a good game. I think Fnatic should be favoured for that. I do think Fnatic are the better team right now. Oh, he's pulled up D+. Okay, so he's still got Weibo. I'd rather it was anyone but Weibo. Please not Weibo. And then he's got Gam or Mad. If you're D+, you want Gam or Mad, obviously. Probably Mad is probably a better stylistic matchup for D+. It's going to be Gam or Mad. Gam's the better matchup. Yeah, I just didn't have faith that they go for D+ Weibo, but I do think it's fake. I do actually think the draw is like a little scripted. But that's their first easy matchup. Like, first time they've got the easiest matchup possible. Mad would have been slightly harder because of the stylistic matchup. Mad into Weibo is going to be a kind of exciting game, but I think Weibo should win that unless they do the Weibo thing. I mean, I don't think we should trust Weibo to perform, but like, yeah, this isn't a bad draw as far as like anyone's concerned, really. To be fair, out of all the teams, like, this is the most competitive, most exciting. Like, C9 Fnatic are going to be very, very close. And then D+ got, like, of the 2 easier matchups, they got the most, like, the team that stylistically matches up worst against them. So actually, they've got the easiest game, actually. If DK and Weibo swap places, like, it would be slightly more competitive, but, you know, I don't think it'd be that different. 1 and 2. The one here we're watching, 2 and 1, sorry. The one we're watching for is G2 mostly. But KT, okay, anyone but T1 would be a good matchup. KT have had like the hardest run to 2 and 1, I think, of any of the teams, and they're playing LNG. Ooh, KT LNG is going to be a big game. I think LNG are definitely favorites because this is like matchup of third seed versus third seed. I think LNG are gonna win, but that is the hardest run KT have got. They've played BLG D+ and Weibo. Like, oof, that's insane. T1, okay, as long as it's not G2. They like saying G2 as much. I don't want G2 to play. Chanting for LNG, which is quite funny. Who they're gonna get? BLG. No, do you know what that means though? We get G2 LRG. Like, why? No, Riot, why? Guaranteed Western team in the quarterfinals. Guaranteed Western team in the quarters. We don't even deserve it. NRG don't deserve to be here. G2 hardly deserve to be here. Kill me. Riot. Why? Riot. Why?